Good morning, everyone. Someone once said that God loves birds, so he created trees. Man loves birds, so he created cages. If you go into someone's house, you see lots of birds in cages. He says, I love birds. If you love birds, don't keep them caged up. Let them fly and enjoy life the way they were created to be. Or you walk into a restaurant, a guy's eating a nice piece of fish. He says, I love fish. If you really love fish, you would let it swim in the ocean. You wouldn't be eating it. What they're really saying is they love themselves. We're now in the days of the Sfirat Omer, and this week's parsha gives us the commandment, love your neighbor as yourself. And the big question is, what does it mean to love someone like yourself? How could you love someone like yourself? Is that even possible? At the same time, we're in the 17th day of the Omer. We know during this time there's no weddings, we're not allowed to take haircuts. Why? Because we're mourning the passing of the 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva, the great sage. So they died during these 33 days. So Til Lag BaOmer is a period of national mourning. The Talmud says, why did they die? They didn't show each other respect. Now, Rabbi Akiva was the great sage who said, love your neighbor as yourself. This week's parsha, he taught that loving your neighbor as yourself is the most important principle, the general principle of the whole Torah. It's the root of all of Judaism. So how could it be that his students didn't treat each other with proper respect if he was the one who taught love your neighbor as yourself is the most important principle in the Torah? And the answer is as follows. A lot of times people profess love for other people, but love is not enough. What else do you need besides love? Respect for the other person. And that's what the Talmud says. The Talmud doesn't say they died because they didn't love each other. They loved each other. What did they fail to have? Respect for one another. You may love the bird, but you don't respect the bird. If you respected the bird, you let it fly. If you love the fish, you may love fish, but you don't respect the fish. You respect it, you let it swim in the ocean. A lot of times we love people, and we think, you have to do it my way, because I love you so much, I want you to do the right thing. But you don't respect that person as an individual to have their own views that may be different than yours. So stop imposing your will and your views and your beliefs on someone else, because I love you, you have to do it the way I tell you to do it, because I'm looking out for your best interest, I want you to be whatever. Do you respect them? Well, they have their opinion of their own that may be contrary to yours. Real love is when you let someone else be who they are. Love your neighbor as yourself, just like you believe in your way and you respect yourself and your opinions, respect someone else's opinion. And that was the problem with the students of Rabbi Akiva. They loved each other too much. It's called smother love. When you smother so much love and you force them to be like you, they loved each other, so they had to impose their opinion on someone else. And sometimes when we do that, we become arrogant, we become condescending, we become judgmental of others, and therefore love is not enough. You also have to have respect for one another. I'll tell you a story. It's probably not a true story, but it's a good parable. There was this girl, she fell in love with this guy. And she was blind, but he loved her very much, and he married her even though she was blind. They lived together, and one day a new discovery came out, eye transplants. You could get a transplant, new eyes, and you could see. Well, she surely wanted to get this new surgery, but she needed a donor. Finally, they told her, we have a donor for you. And sure enough, she underwent the surgery. She gets 2 new eyes, and she lights up, she could see. Unbelievable. She starts enjoying life like she never did before. And one thing she discovers when she opens her eyes is that her husband is blind. Somehow she didn't know that. She sees he's blind and she's like, oh my gosh. Suddenly she has to lead him around and so on and so forth. And one day she says to him, listen, I'll tell you the truth. I lived half my life without eyes. I want to enjoy life. I want to travel. I want to see the world. Everything I didn't have a chance to do. I'm sorry, but I have to divorce you because I have to go live my life. And he was very disappointed. He was crying. He said, look, I love you. I wish you well. But one thing, use your eyes well, because they were my eyes that I donated to you. There's selfless love and selfish love. Sometimes we have to ask ourselves, are we loving in our own best interest? Or are we loving the other person and allowing them to be like the free bird, to be themselves, and respecting them for who they are?